Hi, girls, it's me, Kelly Pierce, international porn star, and the dolls have asked me to penetrate your mind on the adult industry. So, yes, get started because it's going to be a long, long, deep conversation. Just the kind that I like. No, I'm just kidding. Hi, I'm Kelly, and I am a porn star, like I said. And the girls have asked me to kind of talk on the adult industry because I've had my ups and downs in the adult industry. Right now, I'm having my ups. When I first began, I had my downs because I was really uneducated about the industry. I was like many girls who go in and they think that it's going to be easy money and that they're going to become some big, huge porn star like Jessie Jane or Jenna Jameson. But the fact of the matter, that's just not true because the transsexual niche doesn't got it like this is what community does. Because they have many more companies and they also have contracts, like big star contracts, so they get paid lots of money to do so many scenes a year. We do not have that yet in the transsexual adult industry, and I don't know if we ever will have that because we were making considerably less money than they were making back in the early 90s and the 80s because girls then were making about $5,000 a scene or more. So now the average rate for most girls is between $800 to $1,200 for hardcore. So, and just not forget if you're not from LA, that doesn't include your flight, your hotel stay, etc. So that means you probably have to do like a few more scenes to kind of make up for what you paid for your flight and your hotel stay. Um, I personally started in 2008, so I got a little bit more leeway than a lot of these new girls have, I would say, because I know a thing or two, but also I have a big fan base, luckily, knock on wood, that allow me to kind of demand things more from certain directors and things of that nature. I only work for two companies right now, and that's because they treat you like the star, like the star you should be treated as. I think that more models should be paid more. That's my opinion. I do not think $800 for a hardcore is sufficient money. I don't think $1,200 is sufficient money. But they love to use that excuse, the economy. So um, because when the economy crashed, that was a great excuse for the producers to use. Um, and many girls don't want to stand up for that because they don't want to ruffle feathers and they're too scared that they will get blocked out. Well, girls will get blocked because not everyone is made for porn and not everyone has that fan base that they could give a shit about. And that's really what a producer cares about if you're making them money. You are a product. Age does not matter. Looks don't always matter. If your fan base is there and they're buying in, that's when they're going to shoot you. That is when they're going to shoot you, sweethearts. And I think that lots of girls look at maybe like look at, like I said, Jenna Jameson, Jessie Jane, and they even look at like big porn stars, like I don't want to mention any names, or they look at certain girls that are big porn stars that some girls idolize after that are living in closets, that are living at friends' houses, that are probably staying with a director in porn industry in LA because they can't afford to live in LA, and the list goes on. So they don't got the money like you think they have. However, girls need to realize that the day of the porn star is pretty much over. Even female porn stars are having a hard time making the money that, Jessie Jane makes or um, Jenna Jameson makes. How a lot of girls are making their money now is being behind the scenes, being their own director, being their own boss, implementing many things into their porn lifestyle, like webcam modeling. I do that. I also do adult businesses like affiliates. I do um, white labels. I own a webcam studio where I have a bunch of girls, about 200 girls that cam for me, and I get about 3% of whatever they make off each girl, and that's in the long haul. I have Kelly's Dream House, which is the white label, and the list goes on, and that makes me money. all those things add up so I can sit at home and be my housewife that I normally am to my husband, and I don't have to do anything out of the ordinary. When I do scenes, when I came back to the porn industry, I did it my way. And my way was being a wife to my husband and doing scenes with my husband. Um, and he was okay with that. He has his normal job. He's a 9 to 5 job. He works in a real job. But he also does scenes with me. So I'm not seen with some Tom, Dick, and Harry, which really bothered me a lot. And I think which is why a lot of girls get really upset in the industry, because a lot of times you have to sleep with a guy you're not exactly attracted to. And I remember 3 times being on set with different guys that I was just like, you gotta send him away. And another thing that girls forget is that you are the star of the set. You are the moneymaker for that director. And you need to remember that. You need to remember your worth. Your worth is everything. So if you don't like the guy, and if you feel like he is not on the up and up, sweetie, you need to tell that director he needs to find another guy. There's agencies in LA. They have ways of finding new guys. Maybe you can find your own guy. But he's got to be tested. That's the key. There is testing in the industry. We test every 2 weeks. And to let you know, it used to be every 28 days. And the reason why I went to 2 weeks is because we kept on having people break out with some, STDs or whatever the case may be. And we changed it to 2 weeks because, unfortunately, because porn is paying less, a lot of models are taking up riskier activities and escorting. Some female models are even doing bareback. So the industry can be very dirty, be very, 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 very dirty. And it can also be hard being a star especially for a trans girl, because we're so dysphoric. And I like the way that Edie in a previous video was talking about how, like, the hot chick, how she finally sees herself as Rob Schneider in the mirror and she freaks the fuck out and she's like, oh my God. And that's very much like how it is being a transsexual, because when you look in the mirror and you don't see what you want to see as your gender or the way you want to look, because if I feel female and I'm seeing Sled Flintstone in the mirror, I'm probably going to freak the fuck out, So that's something that is another thing that comes into play when you're in the porn industry, because your body is a big part of it. Your penis is a big part of it. When you're ashamed of your penis, or if you're ashamed of your body, or if you do a bad shoot with a photographer that you just hate, because trust me, honey, there's going to be shoots that do not come out well because the photographer's bad. Most of these photographers in the business are not professional photographers. They're more videographers than photographers, so your pictures will come out shitty a lot of the time. You have to be willing to accept criticism and laugh it off. I have a lot of bad scenes because, let me tell you, sweets, when I was getting my surgeries, I was in and out of surgeries. I didn't care about, anything. I was just worried about getting my money to pay off my next surgery. So I would go get a surgery, and about 2 weeks, 3 weeks after my surgery on my face, I was back on the saddle, or back in the porn game. And so I had, like, blown out faces and, whatever the case may be. But luckily I had a fan base that has let me be who I am. I talk about politics. I talk about all the things that they tell you not to talk about, because my fans let me do that. They let me be who I am. And I find that's another thing that's important, is to be who you are in the industry and don't play a part. Because I find that to be very tiring. It can be very hard. And it can also be hard to play a role in general on, like, the relationships go. Like, if you want a boyfriend, or if you want, like, a social life, you don't need to hide that. There should be a reason you should have to hide that. And if your fans think you need to hide that, then that's too bad for them. So make sure that you always put yourself first, whether it be if you're in escorting, porn, webcam modeling. And sometimes it's tiring. Sometimes you get tired even being yourself, sitting there talking to your fans all the time, or sitting there doing updates all the time. It gets tiring. It's work. It is work. And I wish people would understand that. We work our butts off. I work my butt off. I work my butt off to get where I am, to make my money, to do what I need to do. And many girls that don't work as hard usually supplement it with escorting. But you don't have to be an escort to do porn. You have to be an escort to be a webcam model. You can make a lot of good money webcam modeling and doing porn modeling. And honestly, webcam modeling is probably one of the safest because you're at home, you're not doing anything, but jerking yourself off. Safe sex. The safest sex is by yourself. And you can make tons and tons of money at it. You can make $1,000 a week easy on webcamming as long as have a personality. You have the power of gab, the power of communicating, and you are creative. Creative is a big one. You have to keep on changing things up because guys will get bored of the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. And I find that a lot of girls that don't do well on camera are the ones that are lazy. They don't want to treat it as a business. They don't want to spend more than an hour on cam. You're not gonna make money on cam if you stay on there for an hour. You have to stay on there sometimes 3 to 5 hours, sometimes 8 hours. If it's a really slow day, if you want to make $500 that day, you have to really stay on there and make that money. So it takes time. It takes time. I work 5 days a week on cam, and I work around 2 to 5 hours a day. So all of it takes time, and on top of it, I'm doing social media. I'm doing YouTubes. I'm networking. And then on top of it, I sell panties and things like that to fans. So that takes me time. I have to go to the post office. I got to wrap that nicely. I got to do all these things to them. And there's so much that you have to do to really make money in this business. I don't want girls to ever think that it's easy, because it's not easy. And I also want you to understand, do not get into the industry if you feel like you're ashamed, if you feel like you can't deal with it. Do not get into it. If you are using drugs and other things to gain solace for what you're doing, then sweetheart, it's not for you. It's not for you. I feel so bad for so many of these girls that get on drugs and get on all these things that could have had promising careers if they had somebody pushing them in the right direction, or just had somebody out there, because there's no porn manual, unfortunately. And I try on my own to educate girls through my Facebook and through other things. But when I badmouth companies, a lot of times girls that are with these companies will get mad at me because they're like, oh, you're badmouthing them. And I'm like, well, this is just my story. If you don't want to believe it, that's fine. But I just want girls to really, really, really think about if you're ready to be in the adult industry in any circumstance. And if you are, be smart about it. Don't get into things that you shouldn't be doing. Don't get into drugs. Don't get into crazy alcoholicness. If you find yourself going down those roads, stop, breathe, see a counselor, see somebody you can talk to, and deal with it, because it's going to be emotionally scarring for the rest of your life if you cannot deal with it. And I find like a lot of girls that are trans in general, we're so critical of each other, and we're also critical of ourselves. And so when something doesn't go our way, or we hear something bad about ourselves, we really take it to heart, and it hurts us badly. And sometimes we need those people, like a counselor. We need somebody that can be there for us to vent to and to understand, to talk us through it. That's very important. Our health is very important. And there are things and outlets like that in the adult industry that will talk to you. And I'm here for you. If you need help, you need advice, you want to get into it, girls, contact me, Kelly Pierce. I'm here for you. I'm on Facebook. My Twitter is Mrs. Kelly Pierce. My Facebook is The Real Mrs. Kelly Pierce. I'm here for you. So